We're going to continue talking about solving equations, except now we're going to start talking about variables on both sides, which is a little more exciting, I think. Alright, so this is continuing on. This is going to be the last part of 8.EE.7, which is solve linear equations with one variable. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this to another level on the next lesson. That's going to go into the second, sort of one of the substandards here. It's going to go into 8.EE.7a, which is a part of it. But once you're able to do these sort of equations, you should be pretty much an equation expert. So let's dive right in. All right, so here we go. We got an example here of, actually I should bring that guy in there. 5n minus 2 is equal to 3n plus 6. Now, we have a problem here because we have variables on both sides of this equation. We have 5n on the left side and we have 3n on the right side. So what we're going to do here is we are going to eliminate one of the n's from one side. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get rid of the n from one of the sides so that we only have n on one instead of two sides. So the way I would typically look at this is I ask myself which has the higher amount, and then I subtract the side with the lower amount. I get rid of the side with the lower amount, because you end up with a positive variable, which makes it a much nicer thing at the end. So what I'm going to do here is I have 5n, okay, and then I have 3n. Well, 3n is lower than 5n, so I'm going to get rid of this. So if I have 3n here, then what do I need to do? What's the opposite to sort of eliminate it from this side? Well, I'm going to add or subtract a negative 3n. And I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. Now, you'll notice I do the same thing underneath, right? Remember, I have to combine like terms. Okay, these are the terms that are alike. I cannot combine the negative 3n here with 2. I need to do them separately. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to then combine these two steps, okay? And let's see what I'm left with. Well, 5n and then negative 3n is going to give me 2n, and I'm also left with a negative 2 on the left side, and that's going to be equal to, well, if I have 3n and I subtract 3n, that leaves with 0, so all I'm going to be left with is a positive 6 on this side. Okay, well, now I'm getting closer because now I have the variables on one side, okay, and I have 2n minus 2, and now I can solve this like any of my other two-step equations. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 over here, and I'm going to add 2, and notice I put it underneath so I can combine those. Negative 2 and positive 2 make 0, so I'm left with 2n is equal to, and 6 and 2 make 8. Okay, now I'm going to divide by 2, and then I get n is equal to 4. Okay, and there you have it. So let's go ahead and we'll check our answer here. Okay, so let's take n is equal to 4, and we'll do, okay, we'll plug it in just to the left side here. So 5 times 4, okay, 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 2 is 18. Okay, so then this side needs to equal 18. So let's do 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 6, does that equal 18? Yes, it does. It works. Okay, so my answer is 4. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so what I want you to do is ask yourself, what would be the first step here? If you're going to try to solve this problem, what would be your first step? Okay, what would you do first here? All right, well, hopefully you're looking at this and you're saying, well, let's see, I've got a y, I've got 8y and 4 on the left side, and I have 11y and negative 17 on the right side. I want to get rid of the y on both sides. I want y only on one side, okay? There are 8 of them here. There are 11 here, so there are more on the right side. So I'm going to subtract or get rid of or add a negative 8y to this, and I'm going to do the same thing to that side. And then we'll combine them. Well, these become 0, and that's what I want, and I get a positive 4 is equal to 11y minus 8y is 3y, and then a negative 17. Okay, now I'm back to one of my two-step equations. So I'm going to add 17 to both sides here, and I'm going to add 17 to here, and I'm going to combine these steps, and I get 3y. This is a negative 17 and a positive 17 together. That makes 0, so I'm left with 3y. And on this side, I'm going to get 17 and 4 makes 21. Divide both sides by 3, and I'm left with y is equal to 7. Okay, and let's go ahead and plug it back in. And so I'm going to do, okay, 8 times 7 plus 4. So let's see, this is 56 plus 4, that's 60. Okay, so then let's do the other side. 11 times 7 minus 17, so that's 77 minus 17. Yep, that equals 60 also. All right, my answer checks out. Okay, and again, if your answer, let's say you didn't get 7, when you plug it back in, you're going to realize that it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, then you need to go back through your steps and see what you did. And typically what's going to happen is you'll either maybe you added 8y and you thought that this became 0 and you ended up with 19y or something like that. You know, maybe you subtracted 17 again, or you made a division problem, you divided wrong, or you forgot to carry a negative. Once you show your steps here, you'll start to be able to go back through your work and identify, oh, here's my error, I see what I did wrong. And that's really powerful, especially with solving equations, because once you sort of get the idea of this, you can always check your answer and see whether or not you did it correctly. All right, well, let's practice some more. So let's go ahead. I've got m minus 1 is equal to 9m plus 15. Why don't you go ahead and you try solving this problem right now. Go ahead, pause the video and try it. Go. All right, let's see how you did. Okay, I have 1m minus 1, and I have 9m plus 15. So I want all the m's on the same side, right? I don't want them on both sides, I just want them on one. There's more on this side, so I'm going to get rid of this m, and I'm going to subtract an m from this side. Okay, and then I'm left with the negative 1 is equal to 9m minus 1m is 8m plus 16. Okay, next step, I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. And I get negative, whoops, what did I do here? This is not, this should be 15, okay? All right, subtract 15 from both sides. Okay. Or add a negative 15, same idea. Get negative 16, and then is equal to 8m. Okay, then I'm going to divide by 8 on both sides, and I get m is equal to negative 2. And let's go ahead and check it. So let's see. Negative 2 minus 1 is equal to negative 3. Say 9 times negative 2 plus 15. Let's see, that's 9 times 2. That's negative 18 plus 15. Yep, that's equal to negative 3. It checks out. It works. All right. Let's do another one here. Why don't you go ahead and try this one? All right, so in this case, I have negative 5x plus 6, and then I have a positive 6x minus 38. So the 6x is higher, so let's get rid of this. So I've had negative 5x. What do I want to do to get rid of it? I'm going to add a 5x, and then I'm going to add 5x. Again, notice I put it underneath my variable terms here. I keep them consistent, right? I want to be able to make sure that I line them up correctly. So then negative 5 and positive 5 makes 0. I'm left with the positive 6 is equal to 6x plus 5x is 11x, and then minus 38. Okay. Next step, add 38 to both sides. Okay. 6 and 38 make 44, and that's going to be 11x. Minus 38 plus 38, that becomes 0. Next step, I will divide by 11, and I get 4 is equal to x. All right, let's check it. Negative 5 times 4 plus 6. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Plus 6 is going to be negative 14. Okay, let's try 6 times 4 minus 38. 6 times 4 is 24 minus 38. 24 minus 38 is equal to, yep, it's equal to negative 14. And checks. All right, let's do one more here. Why don't you go ahead and try this one? This one is a little bit funky, a little bit more challenging, kind of combining our last lesson along with this, what we're doing right now. Make sure that's a negative 3 here. So go ahead and try solving this one. All right, so this one involves a couple different things. First, so I have 4x minus 12, okay, and then on this side I have -3, but I have -3 times this thing, everything in here, right? So I have this thing in the parentheses multiplied by -3. All right, well, if I want to try to get my variables on the same side, then I need to be able to open this up. I can't really do anything with this parentheses until I use or multiply by this -3 here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this, and I'm going to distribute, right? I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply it by each part. Okay, so -3 times -2x is -6x. And -3 times -6 is a positive 18. All right, now we're looking a little bit closer to something that I can solve. So let's go ahead and we're going to get the x's. I only want them on one side, so there's 4 here and -6 here. I'm going to get rid of this side because it's lower, so I'm going to add 6x here. So I'm going to add 6x here. I'm going to combine all my pieces here, so 4x and 6x is 10x. Minus 12 is equal to -6x, and positive 6x is 0, plus 18, so I get positive 18. All right, now I'm going to add 12 to both sides, and I get 10x is equal to 30, divide by 10, and I get x is equal to 3. All right, let's check it. So I got 4 times 3 minus 12. Well, that's 12 minus 12 that's 0. Okay, and then we got -3 times 2 times 3 minus 6. Okay, so then 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 minus 6 is 0. So 0 times -3 will also be 0. Okay, checks out. All right. So make sure you bring these notes. If you really weren't sure or clear on some of these steps, please identify what they are, bring them with you to class, because it makes it a lot easier for me to help you if I know specifically where you get stuck. Like if you're not sure about what I mean by like terms, or if you're not sure what I mean about lining them up or getting the variables to the same side. Any of those are good questions to help me clear up any troubles you're having with this. So hopefully this made sense, and we'll see you tomorrow in class.